Hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing great. Welcome to the end of term exam questions. This is the part 1 MCQ, that is multiple choice question part. You will be given 4 options and you just have to select the correct answer. In this question, we will find the multiple representations of polar coordinates. Polar coordinates, unlike rectangular coordinates, have many ways to represent it. So imagine this is a polar grid and see the point 1. Imagine this is the radius of 1 and 150 degrees is in between over here in the second quadrant. So one way, the easiest way is to go 1 from this side and 150 degree. Okay, over here we go. That is the way to represent it. Another way would be the other side, represented like this. So it will be 1 itself, but the other way, how it is 360 minus 150, that will be how much? 180 plus 210 degrees. So that's one more. Now you will have 2 of them in positive, 2 of them in negative, the opposite sign. So I'll have minus 1, minus 1. That means if I have this line, instead of coming directly to this point, I can come anyway to this point and tell it's minus 1. So it'll be other side of the coordinate, other side of the line. So how much is this degree? So here it is 30, over here it'll be 30, minus 30 degrees. But how exactly will you find this? So I can easily tell you this is 30 minus 30 degrees, or I can come like this by 330 degrees. Since this is in the choices, right, it's very, very easy to find this out. Look at this, 150, right? 150, add 180 to this. So here when you add 180, it's going to be 330 degrees. That's one answer. And subtract 180, plus or minus. So 150 minus 180, that's going to be minus 30 degrees. So minus 30. That's how we can represent this in different ways. Now even the second one. Now already minus 2 is given. So that means, let me just clear this off. The first one, I hope this is clear. You can see the answers. Here it's minus 1, minus 30, and all the same answers we have got. Now what about the next one? Let's think this is the coordinate. 300 degrees is somewhere over here. This is 270 degrees. You should know that this is 0. It starts with 0, 90, 180, 270, and then we are back to 360. So you have to know the basic understanding of the unit circle. 300 degrees would mean something over here, and imagine this is 2, unit radius of 2. But now we are not going to go over here, we are going to the other side. Why? Because it's minus 2. So we go to the other side and this will be your point, not this one. So that's one way to come over here, 300. And one more way is minus 60 degrees, isn't it? So minus 2, comma, minus 60 degrees. How can we reach here at this point directly? From here to here. So how do we know that? It's just 300, the whole thing minus, see? 300 was still here. If you subtract 180, you will reach over here, right? So 300 minus 180, that's going to give us 220. Sorry, 120. So it'll be 2, 120. So this 120 means from here to here. So how will we go the other side? Now, if you add 180, it exceeds more than 360. So we have to be within that. So here, this much is 120. How much will be the other side? It's going to be 90, 180, and 200 and something. But how do you exactly find it? It's very simple. 360 degrees minus 120 degrees, it's going to be 240 degrees, but minus. Now, actually, I made a mistake. You can just take it as 120 minus 360. You will get exactly this value. Hope that's clear. So the 4 ways to represent. One is already given. One more would be 2, 120 degree, which we directly did it. Minus 2 and minus 60 degrees, and 2 and minus 240 degrees. So you can just play around it in your own ways. You can find this out. Now what I do is, if I get a radian value, I just convert this to degrees, and then it's easier to solve. To convert this or this to radian, so this is minus, I'll do that one. Minus 7, instead of pi, just put 180 degrees divided by 6. So what is that? What's that degree? It's negative 210. So this is 210 degrees, but minus. So here, minus 210, 90, 180, and 30 over here somewhere. And it's positive 4. So this is the point. Now to go the other side, what you need to do is Just add 360 to this, you'll get 360. It's going to be 150. From year to year, it's 150 degrees. So we have 4 comma 150 degree, that is one more point, 4 comma minus 210. Two other points would be negative 4. So what will be this one? It is going to be this point over here, and then you reverse it. So it's minus 4, isn't it? How would you come over here? So we have 210. So 210 minus 200 means so much, right? Just subtract 180 from it. I'm not going to take the negative. See, it's just from here you can see this is how much? 210. If I remove 180, I'm going to come and get this point. So I'll just do minus 210 plus 180. So I'll get the exact value. It's 30 degrees. That's minus 30. So this is minus 30 degrees. And from this side, it'll be plus 330 degrees. So this will be minus 30 degrees and 330 degrees. Similarly, you can solve the other problems. There's nothing much in this. Okay, now what happens with the answers? Of course, the answers will be in radian, right? So you need to convert this. Let me show you how to convert. We know the first one, negative 210 is 7 pi by 6. What about 330 degrees? So all you do is write 330 degrees divided by 180, because 180 is pi value, and multiplied by pi. That's the answer, 11 pi by 6. That's the last one, minus 4 and 11 pi by 6. What about the minus 30? So just remove this and make it minus 30. It's minus 1 by 6 pi, or minus pi by 6. And what was the other value we got? 150. So 150 is over here. That's 5 pi by 6. And yes, here you go. Those are the correct answers. So you get it in degrees and then convert back to radians. Or if you're comfortable with radians, you can go ahead with that as well. Similarly, please do these problems and then check the answers here. These ones as well, I find it easier to convert to degrees and then find the multiple representations. Lastly, over here, see, now if one has minus 30, we are getting these same. That's 330, 150 minus 210. Now these will be the same thing, but remember this 2, you should be very careful. There'll be 2 positive values, 2 negative values. You can see here 2 positive, 2 negative every time. The second question is not graph simple polar equations at all. It is about polar distance. The formula is very simple. Square root of the radius 1 squared. There will be 2 coordinates, right? The first radius 1, theta 1, angles 1. The second point will be r2, theta 2. So r1 squared plus r2 squared minus 2 times r1, r2 cos theta 2 minus theta 1. This is the formula you need to memorize. Once you know that formula, you can easily substitute and solve. See, they have clearly mentioned over here from 30 to 41. Find the distance between each pair of points. How do you find it? Let's write the formula. Square root of r1 squared plus r2 squared minus 2 times r1 r2 cos theta 2 minus theta 1. This formula must be memorized. Now here, this is r1, theta 1, r2, theta 2. You can even interchange the points. You'll get the same answer, so no bother in that. Let's substitute. 2 square plus 5 square minus 2 times 5 times 2. It's r, I've just taken the other way. You're multiplying, it's fine. Times cos of 120 degrees minus 30 degrees. And put this inside the square root. Take out your calculators and solve this up. It will be square root, this is the symbol, 2 square it up, plus 5 square, plus, sorry, it's minus 2 times 5 times 2 times cos. Now, you do not need to make it to radian mode. Keep it in degrees only. The default mode is degree mode because the values are in degrees, right? I'll just put 120 minus 30. Close the bracket. The answer is root of 29, or it's 5.385 becomes 5.39. That's it. Here you can use radians as theta directly, but then you will have to press shift mode and then change it to radians. But what I would honestly suggest you is convert this to degrees. Pi by 2, how much is it? 180 by 2, it's 90 degrees, right? Pi is 180 divided by 2, it's 90 degrees. Take it as 90. 4 pi by 3. So what you need to do is 4, wherever pi is there, just put 180 degrees divided by 3. and answer is 240. So use 190 and 240 degrees here and solve it up. You will get the correct answer itself. Let me show you. So it's square root. Radius 1 is 3 square plus 8 square minus 2 times 3 times 8 times cos theta 2 is over here we got 240 minus 90, close the brackets, and the answer is 10.70. So this is a more better way to do it. So I hope you're clear with this. And similarly, please do solve the other problems. There's nothing much in this. It's just straightforward problems. So all are over here. The worked out solutions are there. And that's in this question, we will graph polar equations. We have been given a polar equation r equals 3 plus 3 cosine theta. We do not need to do the detailed method because this is the electronic part. Here, if you want the detailed method, you can make the table method and then graph it out. But here you will have 4 options and you just have to choose the correct one. So a calculator can easily help you to find the correct answer. First thing is in your calculator, type out the equation. No, do not type this r. Radius is what you will find, but the other things, 3 plus 3 cosine, instead of theta, put x. So we can calculate at different angles. So x is the angle theta. Let's calculate. Let's start with 0. At 0, what is the graph? It should be either 0 or 6. It is 6. Yes, correct. Now no, it should be 6, sorry. It should be 6. When you go 180 degree, it will be 0. Now let's see for pi by 6. You can use radian mode, then you have to use pi by so on and so forth. But what I'm going to do is, I'm going to stick to the degrees itself because it's in degree mode. And I'll just make pi by 6. Instead of pi by 6, I'm going to use 30 degrees. Because pi by 6 is 30. So it's 5.59. Is it true? Here, 5.59. Yeah, it's around. Can you see if you see it properly? Yeah, it's around that. And then what about other things? Let's take pi by 4, which is 45 degrees. Over here, that's in the middle over here. Calculate at 45. 5.12, 45. It's, see, this is 4, this is 6. It's in the middle of that. That's 5 point. Oh, yeah, it's correct. 5, it's nearly very close. And even this is correct. You can see over here, this much was 5 and 5, half of that. Yes, absolutely correct. And let me take 90 degrees, 3, 1. Okay, this is 2, this is 4. It's in the middle of that. So yes, that's correct. How about 180 degrees? And you're getting 0. Yes, at 180 degrees, it's 0 itself. And then you can try the other angles as well. You will get some value. Say, for example, I'll do 210 or you can even take any random angle, 250 degree. But where is 250 degree exactly? So this is 180, this is 270, 250 is somewhere over here. Is it correct? Yeah, it's around that, just over here. So it's better to take the known angle, say 270, calculate it at 270. It's this point. It's 3. At 270 again, yeah, it's 3. So this is how you can take different points and check if it's correct. Now, if you go to the other problems, you will not have the same values, other graphs. Only one graph will match. You can just take, say, 30, 45 degrees, 60, 90. That's more than enough. You can just figure out the correct answer in that. Let's go to the next one and just see the answer here. When I chose 270 degrees, it's 3. Is it 3 here? Okay, now this matches, but other points are not matching. Remember, it was at 0, 6. No, it's not matching. So now if you put this equation here, 1 plus 2 sine theta is x. And now I'll calculate it, say, at 90 degrees. 90 degrees is 3. Yes, that's correct. And what about 0? It's 1. Yes, that's correct. And so on. You can just figure out a few more. 45 degrees would be 2.41. Is it correct? 45 degrees is over here. 2.4. Yeah, it's just less than 2.5. So this is accurate enough. So this is how we can easily solve them up. All the graphs can be easily found out using a calculator. Even this one. Please do try everything by yourselves. Let's check this one out. 3 minus cosine x. And let's start with 0. Over here it's 1. See, now here at 0 is over here. This is 1. And let's calculate it at 45. How much is it? 1.87. Is it true? See here, if you look carefully, this is the point. So it's just less than 2. Yeah, it's around 1.87. Yeah, that's correct. Similarly, you can try the other points. Make sure your angle is in degree, your calculator is in degree mode because you're taking degrees. And whatever the answer you get, you compare. So please try all the problems just like that because there's nothing unique about these. So all are same. And let's see at this one. This is also same thing. And see now over here, what happens is, let me, when you choose 45 degrees, okay, let's try this out once again. 3 minus 5 cosine x. Calculated at 45 degrees. How much is the value? It's minus. Why? Because look over here, 45 degrees is this one. There's nothing. It's on the other side, behind it. If you look carefully, if I draw the 45-degree line, minus means it's over here. Yes, that's correct. Say now I'll take 90 degree, you will get an answer properly. It's 3. Is it correct? 90 degrees 3. See, this is 2 in the middle. Yes, that is 3. Absolutely, it's correct. Similarly, you can choose other points. Now, if there is no point in that particular angle, it will be showing you minus. That means behind it. So that's how we do it. Now, say, for example, if I calculate it at 0, it's showing me minus 2. Why? Because minus 2 is over here. Yes, it's minus 2. So that's how we can check it out. All the values, if it is in pi, radians, don't worry. Keep it in degree mode. Just choose degrees and you will get the answers. So please try them by yourselves. There's nothing unique about these. They're all the same type of problems. You'll have 4 graphs. Choose and eliminate the incorrect one. Now this one is a sine 4 theta graph. So all you need to do is put sine values. Let me try this out. Now here they have not given the polar grid, but still you can use this. You know this is a sine graph, right? So you can just put this as sine 4x and try this out. Say calculated at 0, you're getting 0. Calculated at say 45 degrees, again it's 0. 45, 90 will also be 0, but calculated at say 30 degrees, then you're gonna get 0.88. Yes, that's correct. And similarly, you can try the other values. But let's see, yeah, what happens if it's a polar grid over here. This is rows. Now you can check it as well. 30 degrees. What is the value? 0.88. Where is 30 degrees? This is 30 degrees. Is it correct? Yes, 1 and less than that. What about, say, 60 degrees? Calculated at 60 degrees. Now over here negative because it's in the other side as well. See over here it is this, or if you go back opposite, it's minus. See, this is 1, it's minus 0.866. So similarly, you can easily eliminate the other one. And there's one more thing. When it's petals, like rows, when it's even number, it has twice the number over here as petals, isn't it? It's 4. That means it has 8 petals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is another way you can easily eliminate some of the options and then you can go ahead. So that's how we can solve this. Let me just show you. Let's calculate 120 with 0.88 again. Sees 120 is somewhere over here. Yes, that is 0.88, right? Yeah. So this is how we can easily graph, polar equations. Now for this cosine as well, you can see this is the thing. It's 2, but you'll have 4 petals, and then you can check it in the calculator and figure out which is the correct graph. Before moving ahead, a quick reminder and a humble request. Please do share my channel and my videos with your friends and to whoever that can benefit from it. And I also kindly ask you if you can hit the subscribe button and like my videos, it would mean a lot. The fourth question is about identifying classical curves. Here we have a polar graph. Now, if you know the basics of polar graph, you might tell the answer is related with sine theta. And since the radius is how much? 3, the answer is 3 sine theta. That's the final answer. But how would you know that? See, along the x and y, if at all, now these are polar grids, right? Like circles are there. If you see a circle anywhere on the y-axis, if it's above and if it's below, it's either minus sine theta or plus sine theta. It can't be cosine. It can only be sine if it's over here. And depending on the radius, the diameter, this is how much diameter? 1, 2, 3. 3 means it will be 3 sine theta. So if it is along the x-axis, then that is called cosine. That is one important thing you must remember. Now, it doesn't matter you can't remember 3 or exactly what it is. I will tell you the calculator method now. Look into your four options. Now, here we have the answer. R is equal to 3 sine theta, right? But you will have four options. You will have 2 sine and 2 cosine. Looking at this, since it's above, you must eliminate all the cosine options. Only sine can be the options. Let's go to mode and say table 7, and let's type it out. 3 sine theta, let me take it as alpha x. Now here I'm not gonna do it in terms of radians because my default mode is in degrees. I'll leave it as degrees only. This is now starting, right? I will start at 0 degrees and end at 360 degrees. Just memorize these. For all these polar graphs, you can remember this. 0, 360. What is the step you want to give? I will give a step of 30 or 60. 30 is the most ideal, okay? Or you can give, say, 45 degrees and all, but 30 is the most ideal. 30. So at 0, it's 0 only. This is the point. And then 30 degrees, where is it going? If you see this 30-degree line, that's the 30-degree, right? And what is the value? 30 is 1.5. This is 60 is 2.59. 30 is 1.5. So 1.5. Yes, that is the point, right? What about 60 degrees? This is the line. It's 1, 2, 2.2.5. It's 2.59. Yes, that's accurate. What about the other values? Same way, you can compare because already the graph will be given. Just compare the values now. Here we have at 90, it's 3. Is it true? Yes, it's 3. 1, 2, 3. And what about 120 degrees? It is 2.59, is it? 1, 2, yes, 2.59. Then we have 1.5. Sorry, this is 1.5, not this. And this is again 0. And then it keeps on going. But it will be negative sign. Let's see that. Over here, you can see it's minus 1.5 at 210 degrees. So this is 180, 210 is this. Minus 1.5 means go backwards. 1.5. So over here at 240 degrees, it's minus 2.59. So 1, 2, 2. This is the value. But it's over here, but minus, that's why we go back. 270, same thing. We can, 270 is over here, 3 pi by 2, right? Minus 3. So not over here, it's minus 1, 2, 3. This is the point. So this is how we get a circle. If you get one circle, that's enough. You can easily differentiate the graph. So that's how we do these problems. Now here we have a lemniscate. If you look at such graph, it's lemniscate. Now graphing them can be a bit tricky, but anyways, now you know this is a lemniscate. There'll be four options. These options are generally in terms of a square sine 2 theta. Now looking at the standard form, you can easily tell, but imagine you can't remember the standard form. You need the calculator method, then it's fine. We have to take our calculator. Now here for lemniscate, remember it's not like circle. So I generally focus only on the first part. So from 0 to 90 degrees, just focus over there. Why? Because if you take say 360 degree, you won't get the proper values because over here these are same values. You can try 0, 360, 30 degrees. It may not give you the exact answer. It will give you, but not more accurate one. So what you do is mode 7. Write this form. Now over here, when you write the form, there's a very important thing. You can't write directly this 9 sine 2 theta. No, you should write square root because we have to take square root on both the sides to get r. This is 9 sine 2 theta is basically alpha x, close the bracket, and there's no g of x. Where do you want to start? It's at 0. Now, since I'll just focus on this particular values, I will take at least half of them from 0 to pi, okay? So what I'll do is end at 180. And here, step is very important. I'll give 15. And now you can see at 0, where is it? 0 is 0 only. What about 15 degrees? 15 is over here, this point. It's around 2.1. Yes, this is correct. Then 2.79. Yes, it's correct. What about this 45? It's 3. Yes. And so on. You can just compare. Only now over here, some of them will be error. Just ignore the points. Why? Because we have square root, right? If at all the inside the value it's negative, it will be an error. That's fine, but you will get enough values to easily deduce which is the correct one. Okay, you can try with 360, but generally you won't get the answers. Let me just show you. because the computation over here, if you take till 360 and 15, there is insufficient memory. So you can try one thing, 0 to 360 and say 30 degrees. Now over here, see these values, many are missed out. See, these are missed out. Over here, they are all recurring points. At 30, at 60, 30, it's yes, 2.79 correct. Even over here, it's 2. Yes, correct. So we are not getting much information, So that's why I generally take 0 to pi and take 15 degrees. You'll get a lot of information of the graph. Basically, you're just looking into the, graphing the equation and checking. If you graph the wrong equation, if you take the wrong equation and check for the values will be wrong. It won't match. Only one equation will match to this graph. So it's easy to deduce. Even over here, just see the final four options, because you will have four options. Put this in the graph. This is very simple. Just put this in the graph and see which is belonging to where. Does the points match with the graph? And that's it. Same thing with the other graphs. Please make sure you graph them in the calculator. You get the values and then compare. This is a rose curve, and this is another circle. It's simple over here. It's cosine and left side is minus, and since the radius is 2, minus 2 cos theta. Now this is lemniscate again. Over here, remember for lemniscate, you have to always take the square root. The question is to find the products and quotients of complex numbers in polar form. Now, first thing, let's understand the formulas. If there are two complex numbers given in polar form, they'll be in terms like this. R1 cos theta 1 plus I sin theta 1. And imagine the next one is R2 cos theta 2 plus I sin theta 2. You can multiply them both. Okay, Z1 and Z2 can be multiplied by this formula. Here the radiuses are multiplied to each other, and the angles in theta, the theta angle, right? The first one is added to the second one, and over here first one is added to the second one in the imaginary part as well. The sine theta is for the imaginary part, whereas cos theta is the real part. This is the formula. You need to memorize this one. The quotient is simple. It's just divided. R1 divided by R2, and instead of plus over here, we have minus. So if you're thorough with one formula, the other one is very simple to relate it. So here it was multiplication, multiplication, division, division. Multiplication is related to addition, division is to subtraction. Now let's solve some problems. Here we have a problem where we need to find the product in the rectangular form. So we need to find the product, that is multiply them. Should remember the formula. Over here is the formula. All you do is multiply 2 times 4 here. And what about theta? Add them up. 5 pi by 3 plus pi by 6. Same thing over here with the imaginary part. Put it in the calculator, you get this as the answer. Let us do it in the calculator. Once the polar form is done, over here if you're thinking how to solve this up, just write it as it is. 5 pi by 3 plus pi by 6. Over here it's pi divided by 6. The theta for both the things, see over here, the cos and sine will be same, cos and sine is same. So if you do once, it's enough. This is the answer for both. But what about this part, like conversion to rectangular form? It is very simple. All you need to do is type the imaginary and real parts separately. What I mean is multiply this 8 over here and over here. For the first thing, it will be 8 times cos, what is theta? It's 11 pi, that is shift and over here, by 6. Now make sure your calculator is in the radian mode, that is shift mode and 4. If it's not already in radian mode, please convert to radian mode. Press equal to, this is the answer. You can see the first part, 4 root 3. You can directly jump to the answer because this is MCQ question. And now only change this to sine, and that is the other answer. That is the imaginary part. But here you should add I. That's the only thing. Now let's do other problems. See, the polar form is given over here. The rectangular form is given over here. Same thing over here. We need to do it in polar and rectangular form. Important to write the formula and then solve it up. Even if you know it in your mind, that's enough then, because you can directly do it in the calculator. Radius 1 times radius 2 multiplied with cos theta is first, theta 1 plus theta 2. And over here, remember it's plus sine theta 1 theta 2. You should add them as well. That's the formula. Now over here it will be 6 times 4, that's 24, and over here it will be cos pi by 2 plus pi by 4, and over here we will have plus sine, okay, I forgot to write the I sine again pi by 2 plus pi by 4, and that's the answer. So we will be 24, and we have cos. Now this is half pi, this is 1/4, it will be 3/4 pi. You can directly write it 3 by 4 pi or 3 pi by 4 plus I sine 3 pi by 4. This is the polar form, but we need the rectangular form, right? So your answer will not be in this form, it will be in rectangular form. So we need to have a calculators with us. Now what you need to do is type this out. 24 times, what is this? Cos 3 pi by 4. So 3 by 4 pi is also same thing, or 3 pi by 4 is the same. So what is this answer? It's negative 12 root 2. Same thing, just change this cos to sine. Over here, just delete this and put sine. You get the answer 12 root 2 as well. So the answer is negative 12 root 2 and positive 12 root 2. But the positive part as I over here. Why? Because it was the imaginary part. Simple as that. And over here, please do it by yourselves. Only difference is this is in degrees. Now, what would you do if it is in degrees? Clear your calculator. That is shift 9 3 equal AC. Now it's cleared and it's in default mode of degrees. Now radians doesn't work. So over here, first thing is multiplying 5 times 2, it's 10. Now what about this? Adding the degrees, right? I'll do the first part, the real part directly. It'll be 10 times cos 135 plus 45, close the bracket. So this will be the answer. It's negative 10. You can see the final answer. Now what about the imaginary part? Only thing is over here, you need to change this cosine to sine. And guess what? It's 0. So 0 multiplied with, imaginary is always 0. So here you get only 10. That is only the real part is there. Imaginary part is 0. It's not required to be written. Now we have division. So let's do this problem. Same concept, but the formula is different. It is R1 by R2. Over here we have cosine theta 1 minus theta 2. And over here it's plus between them. I sine theta 1 minus theta 2. So this is the formula. Now we will substitute. We need to divide what this is. This becomes R1 theta 1 theta 1. The division part, divisor becomes R2 theta 2 theta 2. So R1 is 3 divided by half. I'll write 0.5, or you can write 1 by 2 and that goes up. Anyways, the answer will be 6 over here. What about cos theta 1? It's 3 pi by 4 plus, sorry, it's not plus, it's minus, my bad, minus pi. Plus I sine, same thing, 3 pi by 4 minus pi. And what's happening over here? This is 3 divided by 0.5 is 6. We have cosine. Now what is 3/4 pi minus pi? It will be negative pi by 4 or 1/4 pi, okay? Plus I sine, again the same thing, negative pi by 4. That's it. Now over here, this is the polar form, but we do not need this. What do we want? We need the rectangular forms. We just use the calculator and solve this now. Over here, we type this as it is 10 cosine negative pi by 4, that is minus pi by 4. I remember I changed this back to degree mode. See, I will show you the difference. Now this is the answer, 9.99. But now shift mode and 4 will give me an entirely different value. It's 5 root 3. Sorry, it's not 10. My bad, it's 6. Okay, over here. This is the answer, 3 root 3. 3 root 2. Now that will be the first part of the answer, you can see. Now what about the other one? Just change this to sine. From cosine it becomes sine, and the answer is negative 3 root 2. That will have I imaginary part. So you can see this is the polar form and the rectangular form is over here. So this is how easily you can solve all the problems over here. Here again, it's multiplication. We did a similar problem. Here's the worked out solution. Now here, what happens is when the imaginary part becomes 0, that part is not written. You don't write 4 plus 0. 0I is 0 itself. So only 4 is written. Here also you can work it out by yourselves. Now this part, what happens over here is the first part, real part is 0. Only imaginary part remains. I will show you. You can just put this in the calculator. I've typed this over here in the question, the real part, and the answer is 0. So here we don't write that. Only the other part, the imaginary part is written. Remove this and make it sign. And what's the answer? Negative 3 by 4. And don't forget the I. So this is how we solve all these problems. Again over here, similar one, but it's division. So remember, use the formula appropriately and solve it up. Same thing over here. Look at the question. If it's in degrees, make sure you clear your calculator, or you can press shift mode and 3, that is degrees. Otherwise, if it's in radians, that's like pi, you have to keep the mode in radian and solve it up. If you don't use radian mode, your answer will be wrong. Over here, there are similar problems. And last problem here, it's about division, and that's the answers. The question is about arithmetic sequences. Here, let us look into the formula of arithmetic sequence. The general formula is given as an equals a1 plus n minus 1 d, where a1 is the first term, d is the common difference, and n is the number of terms. Now, what is this an? This is an explicit formula in the sense, imagine you want to find the sixth term of the sequence. All you need to have is a6. So you need to have first term, that is a1, and this will be 6 minus, it's plus 6 minus 1 and the common difference, and you directly will get any term you want. So you do not need to know the previous term or anything. You can jump to any term you want as long as you know certain data, that is the first and the difference. Now we will solve some problems. Here during their routine, a high school marching band marches in rows. There is one performer in the first row. They have told this is the first row A1. Three performers. Now first row it's 1. A1 is 1. Three performers in the second row, that will be A2 is equal to 3. And 5 in the third row. A3 is 5. This pattern continues for the rest of the rows. Determine how many performers will be there in the 14th row. So they have given a sequence 1, 3, 5. Now if you see the common difference over here is 2. So next will be 7, 9 and so on. So this is 2 over here. And then n, what do you have to find? At the 14th row, n is 14. So we have to find an equals a1 plus n minus 1d. This is the formula, right? Now a 14th will be the first term, that is 1 plus 14 minus 1 times what is the d? That's the difference. What is there? That is equal to d. This is it. You just put this in the formula, you can get the answer. It'll be 1 plus 13 times 2 is 26. The answer is 27. Use the calculator here. The final answer must be 27. So this is how you can solve it. Now here a different variation of the formula is used, but the final answer will be the same thing. You can see the answer is 27. So very simple. But now look over here. They have clearly mentioned the first row, that is A1. It is 1. A2 is 3. A3 is 5 and so on. About money. Usama's employer offers him a pay rate of 33 dirhams per hour with a 0.5 raise every 3 months. How much will Usama earn after 3 years? Now here, what do you think is this term 1? They have told a lot of things. This is what it's increasing every 3 months. So D is 0.5. The after 3 years is what you need to solve. So you need to see how many 3 months are there in 3 years. In the sense, for each 3 months, there will be a jump. 3 months. Next will be after 6 months, 12 months. So how many will be there in 3 months? You can count it like this, or it's very simple. How many months are there in 3 years? 12 times 3. Divided by 3, you will get the answer. So cancel it off. So you will have 12 months. So every 12, n will be 12. Sorry.
So if you count n of 12, you will have 12 3 months in 3 years. That's the thing. So there'll be 12 times increase in the salary for Osama. Now, what is the term 1? Now, A1 is not 33. Here you need to realize that A1 is the first term. Now, what is first term? When there is an increase of 0.5 salary, right? So after the first 3 months, it becomes the first term. So this is just given. It's not A1. A1 is the first time something happens, or in the first row, or after 1 month, what happens, right? But here it's after 3 months. So A1 will be 33.5. You can even try counting it. Now this will be A1. After A12 will be 3 years, at the end of 3 years. So this is it. These are the given. So an is equal to a1 plus n minus 1 times d, right? Now substitute a12. That means after 3 years, it will be 33.5 into n is again 12. Over here, n, this is what we are solving for. Minus 1 times d is over here 0.5. Now this is plus, okay, the formula. Please memorize the formula properly. It'll be 33.5, and over here we have 11. 12 minus 1 is 11. 11 times 0.5 will be 5.5, and the answer will be 38 plus 1, 39 over here. So after 3 years, the salary per hour will be 39 dirhams. So this is how we solve it. You can see here, that's the answer.
Before moving ahead, a quick reminder and a humble request. Please do share my channel and my videos with your friends and to whoever that can benefit from it. And I also kindly ask you if you can hit the subscribe button and like my videos, it would mean a lot.
To investigate several different type of sequences, here we need to find which is convergent and which is divergent. Now how would we do it is, you'll be given some values like given and a formula. Now looking at this formula, you can say this is an implicit formula, in the sense you cannot find the value of say a5 without knowing a4. The formula specifies 1.5 an minus 1. So this is n minus 1. What this means is you need to know the previous term to find the next term, and a1 will always be given in such cases. You can't find for a1, you can only find a2 or more. Now what is a2? It'll be a2 is equal to 1.5. a2 minus 1 is a1, right? So a1 is 4. So 4 into 1.5 will be basically 6. And same way we can do A3, where we need to do 1.5 times 6 here, because that's the previous term. It will be 9. A4 is equal to again 9 times 1.5. 9 plus 4.5 will be 13.5. It's 1.5 multiplied by 9 and so on. You keep on getting the values. Now you need to find about 4 to 5 terms. So you can see the first term, second term, third term, your 5 terms are found out. And see the values. What are the answers? It's 6, 9, 13, 20.5. What is the pattern? It's keep on increasing, right? And if you go further, it just keeps on increasing. I mean, with just 4 to 5 values, you understand the trend. Now here, if you graph this, see this is MCQ, don't need to graph, but if you graph this up, the values are, at the first value, it's 4, it's something increasing like this. Okay, it's keep on increasing. So this is diverging. You will never come close to one value. See, the graphs are not like this. It will just come towards one value or something. No. If it comes towards one value, say it will come towards 0.005 and something like that, then you call it convergent. It's converging towards a single value, right? Convergent is coming together. Diverging means it just goes away. It just keeps on going away towards infinity, right? So that's why this is divergent. All you need to do is find few values and see what is the trend of the values. Now this is the answer, divergent. Let's look into another problem. Generally this one will be convergent. Why? Because it's divided by, so as you divide big and big number, what happens? It comes closer to a small number, that is 0 point something. So here what you do is, this is an explicit formula. You don't need to know the previous term. All you need to know is the current term. This is it. That is A1. A2 will be 5 by 10 squared A3 will be 5 by 10 cubed, 5 by 10,000. A3 will be 5 by 10 to the power 4 and so on. Just put them in the calculator, you can get the answers. So over here, you can see it's 5 by 10, zero point 0.5, now 0.05, 0.005, it keeps on going. This is by 10,000, so you'll have 3 zeros and then 5. So what is happening here? If you keep on increasing the values, you can see it's going towards extremely close to 0. So they are all converging. See, the values over here are converging. See, it might be like this and towards 0. So no matter what, all the values are going towards 0. Therefore, this is a convergent series or sequence. So this is it. Now, what about this same concept over here again? Just substitute the n values 1, 2, 3. You get the values, answers, and then you can see what is happening here. Now here you have 97, 73, 86, 58. Now you might think it's jumping up and down. See, it's coming closer. But is it coming closer to any value? Over here you got 22, then 1. The jumps are, not predictable. It's diverging. You can't tell it's converging or anything. It's again divergent. Convergent must be a single value. It must come close towards, say now if it was coming towards 1, it should be 0.99 or 1.01, something like that. Here the values are just jumping. You can't consider anything. These are just divergent series. Similarly over here you can see again divergent. Oh, no, look over here, sorry. They're all coming towards one value itself, right? Now, what happens is if you keep on increasing, so I will tell you a test way to check this. Just take your calculators. Now, even though if it is explicit or implicit formula, you can directly do it in the calculator. Now, you might be thinking, oh, I have to keep on changing one value, right? No, you don't need to do that. As long as you follow this method, 3 by 4, sorry, into what is this previous term, right? What is the previous term? Minus 64. Okay, that's the first answer, negative 48. This much you ought to do. Now, remove this minus 64 and put it as the answer. So what happens is every time you press equal to, this answer is saved over here. So now it's minus 36. You can see these are the values we are getting. See over here. I just realized the answers over here are wrong. They all are minus. Okay, because there's minus sign multiplied, right? Minus sign will always remain. Over here they are clearly mentioned. It's all minus. Now you can keep on going further. See what is happening. As I click the values, it's going towards 0. See, it's all reducing. So I can definitely tell it's going towards 0. So this is how, just check it in the calculator if it is implicit, if it's the previous values. Explicit, you can make in different ways as well. Now over here, it's just, okay, over here again, you need the previous term. Same like what we did a while ago. 4 minus, first time you put 1 and then just put answer and keep on checking the values. You'll get this answer. Over here now, this is not convergent. Look over here, the answer is 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. So this is divergent because it's not coming close to a single answer. There are two values which is jumping. So if you keep on doing the values, it will be just 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. So that doesn't help us. This is not convergent, it's divergent. Here again, find the values. As you can see, few values are enough. You can understand easily it's divergent again. Now here, you solve some values, again it will be 1.6, but no, it's increasing. It is divergent again. You can see it's not coming towards 0 or a stable answer. It's diverging. And what about this one? Okay, this one is reducing. So if you check, let's check it in our calculators. So all you need to do is first time over here, you can put in the value 9. See, there is another way to start with the answer itself. You just have to press 9 equal to, okay? Now what happens is when you press 9 and equal to, the answer is saved as 9. So now when I use this, an minus 1 is the answer, that is 9, which I have to use, plus 3 divided by 2. So now what happens is when I press equal to 6, it's automatically stored over here in the answer. And it's 4.5 and it keeps on going. See, what are the answers? Over here it is converging towards 3. It's not towards 0, but it's 3, but still you can see it's going towards 3.00. As I increase, it will finally only be 3. So this is why I can say this is converging towards 3. So it doesn't matter, it converges towards any value, it's convergent. So it appears to be finite number towards 3. You can check it in your calculator. So that's how we solve that. Over here, again, please do solve the problems by yourselves. Over here, you can see it's converging again. It's converging towards 5. So how you can check this out? Take your calculator. Here you do not need the previous term. All you need to do is type this as it is. See, there is no a n minus 1. It's only n. So consider that as x variable. Now you can calculate at any value. So you want to calculate at 7, press 7, and that's the answer. Yes, that's correct. Now same way, calculate at 50. What is the value you're getting? You're getting 5.12. It's coming closer to 5. Calculated 100. What is the answer? Again, if I calculated 1,000, a big value, you can see it is closing towards 5. This is how you can easily tell which is the answer. If it was a n minus 1, you have to put answer as the given equation. I mean, wherever a n minus 1 is there. But this is explicit formula. N is given directly. You can directly put this in the equation as a variable and calculate different n values. And this is convergent, converging towards 5. Please do solve the other problems by yourselves. Over here, all the worked out solutions are there. Here, it is converging towards 1. So you can see this. It's all coming close to 1. It's towards 1. Question is one of the easiest of all. All you need is a calculator. All you need to do is now press shift and this symbol over here, logarithmic symbol. You get this summation notation. Now here you don't have the option of n, it's in terms of x as the variable. So type it out, 6x minus 11. And where does it start? From 1 till 8 and press equal to, the answer is 128. So that will be the final answer. You can do it by finding 8 values and adding it up, or this is the easier method. Let's do it again. Shift this log symbol over here and 30, type 30 minus 4. Instead of n you put alpha and x, and then x starts from 4 and it ends at 11, and that's the answer. It's 0. So that's the answer. Similarly, let's try the 38th one. All you need to do is shift and this symbol to get the summation. Here you need to use the brackets properly. N squared bracket n minus 5, close the bracket, and now it's all closed. Open 2 brackets, close 2 brackets. It starts at 1 and ends at 7. So the answer is 84, and here you go. All the problems are similar. This one is also straightforward. Just use the calculator, you'll get the answer. Even over here, just use proper brackets, square it up, and then multiply this. So that be the answer. Even over here, there is nothing much. This is just the power alpha x. Let me do this. Shift and log symbol. Now what you do is use the bracket minus 2, close the bracket, square it up, and use the variable x. Then subtract it from 9. Now it starts at 0, ends at 6, and the answer is negative 20. Similarly, you can try all the others. Let me just do, okay, this one. What if there's infinity? Type the question as it is. You can't type infinity in your calculator, right? But there is a way to get the answer. 1 divided by 10 to the power x, close the bracket, because there's one already open and now another one was opened by you, so you need to close it properly. And now where does it start? It starts at 1. But what is infinity exactly? It's a huge number, right? Let us start with 25, because you can't put huge numbers. Your answer is 5 by 9. Yes, that's it. Now don't go directly to put over here, say 100. Now up over here, because sometimes you'll get an error. So 100, but don't put 999 or something. It takes a long time. See, you're getting an error. So you just start with a small value, because it's summation. You have to sum a lot of values. Let's start with 10. You can see it's coming towards 0.55. That is 5 by 9 itself. Then you can just slowly change it, say, to 20. Whenever you get fraction, that's your answer. You can compare which is the correct option and easily choose the correct answer. Even over here, it's the same thing. Shift and the log symbol. Type the equation by fraction. 8 divided by 10 to the power x. And it starts at 1 over here. And it ends at infinity, so I will just start with 15. It's 8 by 9, so the final answer is 8 by 9. You can try even bigger numbers, but don't go huge numbers. So I'll try 25, you might get the answer. For 50, it may be a math error or something. The question is to find arithmetic means and the nth term for arithmetic sequences. So the formula is very simple. We have done this before. A n equals the first term plus n minus 1 times the common difference, that is d. Let's look at a problem. I'll solve this. Over here, you need to understand what is the first term, what is the common difference from the given sequences. This is A1. The difference between this, you can just do 35 minus 24 or 46 minus 35. You'll get 11, that is the D. Substitute in the formula. An equals A1 plus n minus 1 times D. So An will be 24 plus n is just n only, minus 1 times d is 11. Now multiply this 11 inside, it will be 24 plus 11n minus 11. So the finally an will be, you can write this variable term first, 11n plus 24 minus 11 will be 13. So this is the nth term formula. Now once you have this formula, you can find any number of terms. Now this is how we do it, and the means are already given. You just found out the terms, so you can see that's the answer. Now if such options are given to you, you'll have four options, right? You can easily find the answer over here in such cases. Let me show you. You need to have your calculator. All you do is type this equation, 11 instead of n put x plus 13, and now calculate it at 1. When you calculate it at 1, you must get the first term. Now then calculate it at 2, you must get the second term. Calculate it at 3. Yes, this checks all the three values obtained. This is the correct answer. But in this particular method, you need to do it for all the four options until you get these question as the correct answer. Whichever gives you the question, that is the correct option. Even over here, you can do the same. Substitute over here, negative 14n, then plus 45. Over here, just calculated at 1, the answer is 31. Calculated at 2, it should be 17, and calculated at 3, the answer is 3. Yes, that's correct. Now what about such terms? You can try this only, that is by typing this equation as it is. So it's negative 3x over here plus 72. Now since there is no a1 term, you can directly jump to ninth term. What is it? 45. Yes, correct. And since d is minus 3, what I can do is, after 9, let me go to 10. It must be less than 3, right? 45 less minus 3. So calculate it at 10. Yes, it will be 42. And then you can check for other values. It will obey these two. Same thing can be done. Or you can use the formula over here. But when you're using the formula, say in this case, because you have given the fourth term, right? The formula is an is equal to a1 plus n minus 1d, right? You don't have a1. So first you need to solve for a1. But what do you have? You have a4 is equal to a1 is unknown plus what is n? N is 4, right? 4 minus 1 times d is 0.25. So here a4 is 12 into a1 plus 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 into 0.25 is 0.75. And take this to the other side, it becomes 12 minus 0.75, 11.25 is a1. So once you know what is a1, you can easily solve the other terms. Write the equation, right? An equals 11.25 plus n minus 1 times 0.25. Now you can multiply this inside, it will be 11.25 plus 0.25 minus 0.25. Over here it's n. So the final answer will be 0.25n plus 11. But this is a lengthy procedure, right, to get this equation, 0.25n plus 11. So the easier one is just putting values in the calculator and checking the given values. So whichever method you do, you will get the correct answer. Since you will have four options, you can do whichever method you want. You don't need to stick to the formula method itself.
Before moving ahead, a quick reminder and a humble request. Please do share my channel and my videos with your friends and to whoever that can benefit from it. And I also kindly ask you if you can hit the subscribe button and like my videos, it would mean a lot. In this question, we'll find the arithmetic means for the arithmetic sequence. Since it's arithmetic related, this is the formula. It's not geometric. Arithmetic is much easier. This is the nth formula. An can be any term. If this is, say, if you want to find the fifth term, then a phi it'll become. And a1 is always the first term, does not change, plus n minus 1. What is n? That is depending on which term you know. If it's the fifth term, it'll be phi minus 1 times the common difference depending on the sequence. Now let's look at our formula problems and see how this formula can be used. Now let me write down the formula. An equals a1 plus n minus 1d. What is the first term? A1 is 24. What is the last term? We can count out which term because we don't know the middle terms. These are the means. I can say this is first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth term. So I know this is A6. So let me substitute here. A6 will be equal to A1, that's 24, plus what is sixth, n? Sixth term, minus 1 times d, that is, we don't know the d value. Once we know the d value, we can easily find the remaining sequences because you just have to add the d value here. Add d, you'll get the next term. But you can understand that d value is minus. Why? Because the numbers are reducing. Here, whereas it's increasing, so it should be plus. But we need the value exactly. So how we do is, okay, a6, this much is done. Now what is a6 exactly? Minus 1. That is equal to 24 plus how much is this? 6 minus 1 is 5. 5 times d. Let's take this 24 to the other side. It will be minus 24. So minus 1 minus 24 equals 5 times d. That's minus 25 equals 5d. That is 5 times d. Let's divide both the sides by 5. And you're going to get minus 5 is equal to d. So I know minus 5 is the d value. Or you can just put this entire thing in the calculator. We know a6 is minus 1, right? Put this in the calculator, you get the d value directly. And now keep on adding minus 5 here. 24 minus 5 is 19. Then we get 14. We get 9. We get 4. Then we get minus 1. So this is how we can easily find it out. Let me show you in the calculator this step. Minus 1 equals 24 plus n minus 1, that is 6 minus 1, close the bracket, and d value is unknown. I'll take it as x. Shift and solve and then equal to its minus 5. So what I do is 24 minus 5. What's that? Answer is 90. Now I'll just take, that's the next term, answer minus 5, because I know all the answers subtracted by the d value is minus 5. It's 14, 9, 4, and minus 1. We'll stop over there. Similarly, what is this over here? Now I'll directly write it because it's the electronic part. I'm not gonna, you should know the formula, but it's better to write the formula and substitute. I don't know, this is 49 equals, what's the first term? Minus 6 plus n is how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minus 1. Close the bracket, multiply it with x or the d value. And now shift and solve and press equal to, okay, I did a mistake. What did I do wrong? Now here this is equal to minus 6 plus n minus 1. And over here it should be, yeah, it's correct. Alpha x. Shift and solve and then press equal to, it should come correct. I think so I did press something wrong or maybe some error. But anyways, it's 11. Now, what is this? That is the d value. So now write it out. It is minus 6 plus 11 because we got 11. The answer is 5. Now what you do is write the answer and then plus 11. Because now we know 5. Next one will be 16, 27, 38. You can see the answers here. 5, 16, 27, 38. That's how we can get the answers easily. Now these ones I'll directly show it in the calculator. The last term, that's 7 equals. I know there are some other methods because you will have the answers. I mean the 4 options with you. There are some tricks as well. But this is the most reliable method. You know, negative, positive. Every time you'll get the correct answer. It's up to you. You can choose other methods as well. So 7 equals, what's the first term? It's minus 28. It's better to write the formula. an equals a1 plus n minus 1 times d. Now practice plenty times, then you can directly use the calculator and keep the formula in your mind and do it. So plus, now here again count the numbers, number of terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Everywhere it's 6 terms, so it's 6 minus 1. Close the bracket, multiplied with alpha x, shift and solve. That is equal to 7. So 7 is the d value that's been added up. So minus 28 and minus 28 plus 7. Now here we got negative 21. And now change this to answer and keep on pressing equal to. You'll get the next term and the next term and the next term and so on. Same thing over here. You can see also looking at the options, you can just see which is the best fit. With calculator, just finding the d values and checking whether it's the proper sequence, you can find which is the best fit in the of the arithmetic means as well. Now, but I'm using the formula here. 39 equals 84 plus n minus 1. It'll be 6 minus 1. That's 5 times x. Shift and solve and equal to, it's minus 9. So here we have 84 minus 9. That is 75. Now I'm just going to change this 84 to answer and leave the minus 9 there. It's 66, 57, 48. Similarly here, minus 66, that is 6x, and equals minus 12 plus n minus 1, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 terms. This is the 7th term here. It will be 7 minus 1, close the bracket, and multiply it with x. And shift and solve and equal to, it's minus 9 here. So what we need to do is minus 12 plus, okay, now you need to press AC or on. Now we will do minus 12 minus 9. The next answer is minus 21. Now I'll change this one up to answer. Or you can type in minus 21 and then press equal to, then again type in minus 30 and so on. Here's minus 30, minus 39, minus 48, and lastly minus 57. Similarly, do this problem and then check your answers. I'll do it here. 104 equals 182 plus n minus 1, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 terms. So it's 6 minus 1. Sorry, it's either 6 or 7 minus 1. That'll be 6 times x. Shift and solve and then press equal to, it's minus 13. So it'll be 182 minus 13. What is the answer? It's 169. Then I'll just change this up. See, minus 13 is the d value that will remain. It's always the previous term plus d. Now here it's minus 13, so it'll be minus d, and so on. So let's put in the answer. It's 156, 143, 130, 117. We get 104. You can find the other terms as well, but we can stop at 104 because that is the last term here. The question is about geometric sequences. We have to find the nth term and geometric means. The geometric sequences formula is given like this. It's an equals the first term multiplied by rn minus 1. You might find this similar to the arithmetic sequence, but over there it was all about plus, right? Here you're multiply because geometric means you're multiplying the number. This r is the common ratio. A1 is the first term, nth term, n is the number of terms. So here we have some terms, okay? The first and the last. We need to find the terms in between. Now what we can do, we know only one formula for the geometric sequence, that is an equals a1 rn minus 1. So what all can we find over here? Can we find r? Can we find what is being multiplied? No, because we don't have the second term. To find r, we need a1, a2, any two consecutive terms. R will be second term divided by the first term. Because you multiply this by a number, you get the second term. So a1 multiplied by r, it will go to the other side. This is the formula. But now we can't do that. But we know how many terms are there, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can tell n is equal to 5. The first term is 810. This is the nth term, that is 5, right? An is a5 in this case. So can we substitute and try something? An, that is a5 over here, because there are 5 terms only, will be equal to a1 is 810. R is unknown. What is this n? n is 5 minus 1. Now what is a5 over here? It's 10 equals 810 r to the power 5 minus 1, that is 4. So you can directly put this in the calculator and solve, or you can simplify it, and you can take 81 to the other side and take the radical 4. But I'll show you how you can do it directly in calculator. Now you can write 10 equals, I've considered the original function, not remove the zeros. So 810 multiplied by r is the variable, so we'll consider it to be x to the power, let's take 5 minus 1. Now you have to press shift and solve and then equal to, now you get the answer. It might take few seconds, but you'll definitely get it. And it's taken, now press equal to, and that's the answer. So the final answer is 0.33, that is 1/3. I remember doing this in the class and showing the students the calculator calculation. Some of them never got it. So you need to clear your calculator before this, before you start, clear your calculator, and it will take about 40 seconds or 30 seconds. I can't remember now. It took a long time for them. So now I'll show you the calculation without the calculator method, just the algebraic calculation. Take 81 to the other side, will be 1 divided by 81 equals r to the power 4. Take radical 4 on both the sides. It will be, r will be this much. This much you can put in the calculator directly. So we shift and this symbol, use your radical, it's 4, and press next, it's 1 divided by 81. 3 to the power 4 is 81, so it should be 1 by 3 itself. So that's the answer. Oh, now that is just r. Wait a minute, we will do the answer now. We came to know r over here is 1 by thirds, so that means you have to multiply 810 by 1/3 to get the next term. And that's not it. You need to keep on multiplying 1/3 3 times. So we can do that in the calculator. Now what you need to do is this 810 multiplied by 1/3. 1 divided by 3. What is the answer? It's 270. So since it's 3, you can just do 270 multiplied by 1/3 and so on. But if you want to save time, you can just save that as the answer. Now 270, what we got is saved as the answer. Now multiplied by that is 90. And then when you press again, now answer is 90 here. You're getting 30, then 10. And the next terms would be so on and so forth. So here it's 270, 90, 30. Now there is one important thing to remember. I forgot to tell you. We took r to the power 4, right? We got r to the power 4, 1 by 81, sorry. And then we took radical 4. Now, whenever there is even number, I forgot to write over here, it's plus or minus 1/3. It's not only plus, it can be plus or minus. Always for a square root, power 4, power 6, any even number, it can be two possibilities. So in such cases, what you need to remember is, this is yes, correct answer, but there might be also this possibility. It is easy to figure out because in your options, you will come to know there are two set of answers. So select them. Okay. So this is the possibility. It can, okay, now it can be minus 1/3. So 810 times minus 1/3 will be how much? It will be minus 270. Then multiply this again, minus 270 times minus 1/3. This is going to be positive number, and then just solve it. It will be 27 times 90. And then this is plus 90, and then 90 times again negative 1/3 will be negative 30, and so on. So this is how we solve it. We'll do one more problem here. Let's do a difficult one, last one over here. So first one, a1 an, and there are 5 terms. N is equal to 5. So we will substitute in the first formula. A5 is equal to a1, that is 729 divided by 64 multiplied by r to the power 5 minus 1. So it is 324 divided by 9 is equal to 729 divided by 64 r to the power 4. Now you can try putting this directly in the calculator. 324 divided by 9 will be equal to 729 divided by, okay, you should press this fraction symbol, 64 multiplied with the variable x to the power 5 minus 1 is 4. Shift and solve. It'll take time. Now it's 1.33. That means it's 4 by 3. So that's the answer. Now if you want to check what is the fraction symbol, fraction, you can just put 1.333, a lot of threes, and it automatically gives you 4 by 3. So now R is not 4 by 3. It can be plus or minus 4 by 3. We will keep this plus or minus 4 divided by 3. Now you just have to multiply plus, first multiply plus 4 by 3, then minus 4 by 3. So whatever answer you will have two different answers. Let's do that in the calculator. Here, let's take the first term, 729 multiplied with 60 divided by 64 multiplied with, it is 4 by thirds, 4 divided by 3. Let me do the negative one now. Because if you do negative one, then only the values are the positive. See, only for the negative one, we have to add negative. The values over here will be same. One will be all set of positives, one negative, positive, negative, alternating positive and negative. So I will multiply this. What's the answer? It's 243 divided by 16. Now what I'll do is I'll just change this to the solution. I mean, as answer, it's saved, right? Next one will be 81 by 4. You can see the answer. Next one will be positive only. And the third one is negative 27. And here it is 36. But this 324 by 9 is also 36. You can see 324 divided by 9 is 36 itself. But they are written in fraction. That's it. So that's how we solve these problems. Over here, they have given the same thing again, but in words. See, they have told to find two geometric means between 3 and 375. There are two terms. Same thing. First, use an, but this time it's 4 because we have only 4 terms. A1 r n minus 1, right? That is 4 minus 1. So what is the fourth term? 375 equals, the first term is 3, r to the power 4 minus 1 is 3. It'll be 375 divided by 3 and the cube root, that is equal to r. Now here, be careful. This is an odd power, right? You can try directly putting in the calculator as well. Now since I've done the simplification, I'll put the simplification over here, 3, and this will be 375 divided by 3. Now what about this? Is it plus or minus? No, it will be only plus. Only for even numbers, even powers, over here there'll be plus or minus. But this is only 5. So let's start doing it. 3 times 5 is how much? 15. So now 5 is the r value. So just change this and put the answer 15 and 75. So that's the answer. It's only positive. There's no negative values. Why? Because it's an odd power over here. Same thing, you need to do it over here and check the answers. Question is to find the sums of infinite geometric series. The formula is given over here, the sum of infinite geometric series. What does this mean? Imagine you have half, 1/4, and 1 by 8, 1 by 16, and keeps on going. It keeps on going forever, right? But still you can find its sum using this formula. But technically it goes until infinity, right? How can you add till infinity? So imagine you have a piece of cake, like say maybe 1 kg cake, you cut into half, it's half kg now. You cut again half, it'll be quarter. How many times you can keep on dividing into half? It'll be 125 grams, less, less, less. You can cut into infinite pieces, isn't it? So infinitely you can cut this. But the total sum will always be equal to 1 because that was a 1 kg cake. So that's the thing. Now, all you need to do is use this formula. The first term, whatever is the first term, you just put it up, 1 minus r. Simple formula. But very important that r must be less than 1. If r is more than 1, that means it's increasing. So now imagine you have 2, 4, 6, 8. It keeps on increasing till, 2, 4, 8, 16. You're multiplying, r is something more, it becomes multiplication and keeps on going till infinity. You can't track it down, you can't find its sum. Whereas if it goes less, say 0.5, 0.25, 0.125, and then you can add all the sums. So we will look into the problems here. First step, you need to find r for all the terms like this. Just find r. Second term, 21 divided by 20 divided by 7 divided by 5. Or it's easier to write like this, 5 divided by 2 the whole fraction symbol divided by 15 divided by 4. You can solve it, try solving it over here, but it's better to use calculator, saves a lot of time. Now when you're typing in the calculator, it's up to you. You can use the fraction again up over here, like 21. So it's 21 divided by 20. And then over here again use the fraction, and it will be 7 divided by 5, and the answer is 3/4. Or what I would generally suggest is, because this is less confusing, 21 divided by 20, and over here you have 7 divided by 5, because the fraction means divided by. The answer will be the same. Now the answer over here is 3/4. So what do you do now? Write the sum formula. A1 by 1 minus r. A1 is 7 divided by 5. 1 minus 3/4, that is 1/4. You can put that entirely in the calculator. It is 7 divided by 5. Over here it's 1 minus 3/4, 0.75, or you can write 3/4. So the answer is 28 by 5. You can see that's the answer. Same thing over here. You can do it by yourselves now. Let's quickly do this. 5 divided by 2, that's 2.5, divided by 15 divided by 4. It's 2/3. Now all you need to do is 15 divided by 4, 1 minus 2/3, 2 fraction. When you're writing 1 minus, write it like this itself. It's much better. So answer is 45 by 4. Similarly, please do try these. Now here, remember it's negative, but doesn't matter. When you're finding the r, 4 divided by 3, and over here it is 16 divided by 9. But don't forget the sign, minus. It's negative 3/4. But is r value less than magnitude of it, is it less than 1? Yes, 3/4 is less than 1, so you can find the sum. That is over here minus 16 divided by 9, and over here 1 minus, I can use the answer because the r value is saved over there. The answer is negative 64 by 63. Similarly, you can do this over here. It's 2.5. I think so. Yeah, there is no sum. Why? Because this is a very small number, I mean, not very small. It's less than 2.5. This is 2.5. Just do it over here. See, 5 divided by 2, 15 divided by 8. So this value is more than 1. If it's more than 1, there is no way you can find the sum. Even because the formula exists only for r values less than 1, right? So if you try even over here, 15 divided by 8, 1 minus the answer. Now don't think this is the correct answer. No, this is wrong. Here you're getting some answer because you put the r value, yes, but this is not the accurate answer, okay? You should ignore this. This will go till infinity. No sum exists. So first you need to find r. Let's find r over here as well. It is 7 divided by 4, and over here it's 21 divided by 6. Here the r value is 21 divided by 16. If it was 0.5, yes, there was some, but here it's 1.33. Whereas over here, if you try 12 divided by 7, and over here it's 18 divided by 7, and I forgot the negative sign, the answer is 0.666. That's fine. You can use it. Before moving ahead, a quick reminder and a humble request. Please do share my channel and my videos with your friends and to whoever that can benefit from it. And I also kindly ask you if you can hit the subscribe button and like my videos, it would mean a lot. To write the repeating decimals as fractions. It's the MCQ part. You'll have 4 options, so all you need to do is use your calculator here. There is such an easy trick to solve all these problems, that is 0.321. Write it as it is. Now, wherever you can see the line, that is the repeating part. That means this number is going to be 21, 21, 21, and so on. It keeps on repeating. So if you write some considerable amount of digits, you will directly get the answer as a fraction. You can see that's the answer. Same thing here, 0.1454545. Write about few pairs of it, and it's still not there, but just few more, and here you go, that's the answer. Another way to solve it is you will have all the answers, right? 4 options. Just solve them up. 24 divided by 11, that will give you this one 2.181818. Ignore the last digit just until last bar 1. Now here, this is the way to check, but you need to do for all the four options and check with the question. Only one matches and that's your final answer. So now let's do the others. It's 4.96. The easier way would be just writing it, few pages, and then, okay, if it's not showing up, write a few more and it'll show up once. So that is the answer here. Now, another important thing to remember is to repeat only the ones which have line. So if you repeat all these digits, then that's the wrong answer. So please make sure about that. And now press equal to, that is the answer. And lastly over here, 0.4336. So it's 336 and only 36 has been repeated. And that would be the answer of 477 divided by 1100. So that's how easily you can solve all these problems. In this question, we'll find the iteration for the given function. Iteration is basically composing a function by itself, like by the initial value. If you have been given a function, instead of the x values, you put the initial value and find it. And then for the next iteration, you find the previously found answer. It'll be very easy if you see, say for example, this problem. Now what you need is just a calculator. I will type out this function. What is it? 12x plus 8. Now here, calculate this x value as the given function. What is the given, sorry, initial value? What is the given value? It's 4. Calc at 4. What is the answer? It's 56. That is the first iteration. If you look into the answers, that's the first answer. Now, what's the next iteration? The function is not changing, but the answer is 56, right? You need to calculate at 56. That's going to be the second answer. What about the next one? You calculate at whatever answer you found out, that's 680. Therefore, you get 8168. So basically, it's very, very simple. You can look into the options, but you need to start with the initial value and you can figure out which is the correct answer. So what do you do over here? Say, for example, here, you put this initial value. It's minus 6, isn't it? In this equation, it'll be, let me write it out, minus 9x plus 1. Calculated at minus 6. We got 55. That's the first answer. Now calculated at 55. That'll be the second iteration. Minus 9494. Calculate. Okay, again, I'll just put it over here directly. Minus 9 times minus 494 plus 1. You will get the answer. That's the last answer. But it's better to put in terms of variable and then calculate at different x values. So all these problems just like that, you can solve it very easily. Minus 6x plus 3 calculated at 8. Now that's minus 45. You can see the answer. But now calculated again at minus 45. 273 calculated at 273. It's 273. And the last answer is minus 1635. Similarly, I'll solve all the problems, but you can try them out by yourself. So over here, 8x, that is, and plus 3 calculated at minus 4. And here we go, it's minus 29. Now calculate this at minus 29. And we have minus 229. And lastly at minus 229. That's minus 1829. Now similarly over here, let's clear it off. Minus 3x squared plus 9. Calculate this at 2. Minus 3. And then calculate it at minus 3. It's minus 3. It's minus 18. And lastly, calculate that at minus 18. See, it's squared. It'll become a huge number. Minus 963. Sorry, it's a very small number because it's negative. And 4x squared plus 5 starting with minus 2 here. 21, calculated again at 21, and that's 1769, and lastly 1769. Here we go, that's a huge answer. It's 12,517,449. So those are the answers. Similarly here, you can do it for any equation. Iteration is very, very simple. And this is in the electronic part. You don't need to write anything. You can write it out. That is, substitute this 6 instead of x, solve it up. Then again, put that answer instead of x, solve it up. Rather than that, put it in the calculator, calculate it at different values. That's 6 The first answer is 43. But what about the next one? 43 over here. That'll give you 3484, and lastly 3484 gives you, it's a huge number again, 24,259,093. What about this one here? Minus, let me clear it off, minus 0.25 x squared plus x plus 6. Calculate at the initial value of 8, and it should be minus 2. And then calculate it at minus 2. It is 3. Calculated at 3, it's 6.75. Similarly, try them. It's x squared plus 2x and plus 3. Calculated at half, you can write it as 0.5, or you can use this symbol, but here it will not be a fraction. You need to press 1, then this one, and then 2. Or you can use division, or you can use 0.5. You can use this as well. It's the same thing. It'll be 4.25. That's the first answer. Then calculate it again at 4.25. And here we go, it's 29.5625, and you can calculate it, the answer. Okay, that is the easier way. Now I remember it. I remember doing it in the class, but I forgot it completely over here. What you can do is, see, first you will calculate it at 4.25, right? Sorry, half, isn't it? 0.5. That's the first answer. Then you just calculated an answer. You will get this first answer. That's second iteration. And press over here answer again. You'll get the next iteration. You need to keep on pressing answer, answer, answer at calc, because it's already saved, isn't it? Because now this is a huge value, isn't it? Just put the answer. Now here as well, 2x squared plus x plus 1. Now the initial value over here is negative half. So what I'm going to do is calculate it at minus 1 divided. You can use this symbol as well. And here we go, it's 1. Now calculate, 1 is a simple one to write, but you can write answer. That means answer is 1. So next one is 4. Now again, calculate at answer. That's 37. If there are more iterations, just continue the same procedure. See, these are the next iterations. You can see as it goes on, it becomes a huge number. In this question, we will use binomial theorem to solve problems. Here we can see this is the binomial theorem, and this is the shortcut formula to find the specified terms. One of the problem, I'll use the binomial theorem, I'll expand it and tell you how the expansion works. But if you're getting the exact term, where say for example third or fourth term, then you can use this formula directly. A binomial theorem is very simple as well. You should just remember NC0, and whenever you reach the term NCN, that means if a plus b the whole power 3 was there, if you start with 3C0, you stop at 3C3. If you remember so much, then the other coefficients you can easily write it out. I'll show you in the problem. Say here, I'll use the binomial theorem now. They have told 3 terms, but it's raised to the power, you can see it's 7. That means you have to expand it with 7C0 and so on. Let me try expanding this. So the formula I'll write directly. It's the electronic part. No need of the formula, but just to make you understand the problem. 7C0. And then what is the first term? It's x. And what is the second term? It's 2z. Plus. I'll write the powers of these two terms in a minute. Let me write 7C1. Again, x 2 times z plus 7C2. If it was minus here, then you would write minus. Now it's plus, so I'm writing 2z only. And then 7C2, it'll be x times 2z. My 2 and z looks almost alike, so let me make some difference. Okay, then again 7C3, it's x times 2 times z, then plus 7C4. It keeps on going. I hope you're getting the hang of it now. It's 2z plus 7C5 x, and we have again 2 times z. Then I'll just write it down because there are 2 more terms, 7C6 x and 2 times z. And lastly, we stop at 7C7 x and 2 times z. Now, what about this? The first term is starting with the highest power, that will be 7. N is 7, right? Then 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Whereas this term, the next term, it starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it will end at 7. So now whenever it's power 0, it's gone, it's 1, right? So you can dissolve them. And then you can write using without the powers and everything. Now, if you see here, what is the third term? This is the first term, second, third is this term. So you want the third term only, so it'll be 7c2 x power 5 and 2z to the power 2. Now you can use the formula or you can use the calculator directly to solve it up. So let me use 7c is by shift and division symbol and 2, then multiply it with 2 to the power 2. So the coefficients are 84 here. 84 is the coefficient. What is the x term? Raised to power 5 and z raised to power 2. That is going to be the third term. This is by binomial theorem. But now the same thing. See, let's just double check answer. Here we go. Okay, it's a bit long. Okay, that's the correct answer. Now I'm going to use the second formula, the shortcut formula, and directly get this answer. The formula is like this. You need to remember this. NCK. You started with a to the power n minus k and b to the power k. But what is this k? We did not see this k till now. K is which term you're solving? Minus 1. K will be, this is third term, it'll be 3 minus 1. That's it. So I'll substitute the values. It's n is 7, it does not change. Ck is 2 because 3 minus 1 is 2. And here we have first term x, n minus k is 7 minus 2, and we have b, that is 2z to the power 2. Now let's substitute the values in the calculator. In fact, it's going to be the same thing. You see over here 7c2 and then 2 to the power 2, that is 84. And what about the powers? It's 84 x power 5 and z power 2. That's the same answer, and it is the correct answer. So remaining all of them as well, you can directly solve it up. I'll just write the formula directly. It's n, c, it's 4, so it's going to be 3. This is c. Now the first term is y raised to the power 6 minus 3, that is going to be 3. Now what about the next term? It's minus 3x raised to the power, whatever is down, it's 3. So here, let's put in the calculator and then we can write the coefficient, the variables. The coefficients are the numbers 6c3 and minus 3 is raised to how much? Power 3. So we'll put 6, c is shift and division symbol, and then 3, multiply it with, now open the bracket, it's minus 3, close the bracket and raise it to the power 3. It's minus 540. So the answer is minus 540 y power 3 x power 3. Even if you want, say this is the first term y, so I've written it as it is, but if you want, you can write x power 3, y power 3, it's fine. And here we go, that is the correct answer. It's negative 540 y power 3 x power 3. What about this one? I will directly put in the calculator. That's going to be 8. C is shift and C over here. And 7 means it's going to be 6 multiplied by what are the powers? So 8C6 is done. That's K value. And now this A is 2A raised to the power 8 minus 6. That's 2. And we have again minus 2B raised to the power 8. No, not 8. It's 6. Now, whenever we have minus any number raised to even power, it's going to be positive. So let's see here. It's 2 squared multiplied by minus 2 raised to the power 6. This is going to be a positive answer. If it was odd power, say it was 5, then it will be a negative answer because minus sign sustains over there. So this would be the correct answer. 7168. You can look at the answer. And how much is a raised to? It is a power 2 and b is also power 6. That's correct. Important thing is the coefficient. Now here as well, it is 6c and it's sixth term, so it will be 6c5. And then we will multiply this with 4. Why? Because it will be 4 n minus k, that is 6 minus 5 is 1. And lastly, this is 5 raised to the power 5. This is, I'm just directly jumping into the answer. Even this can be done because it's the electronic part. And here we go. It should be 75,000. That's the coefficient. What about x? X raised to power 1 and y is raised to k value, that is power 5. Let me write it out over here. It'll be 6c5, isn't it? Then what do we have? 4x raised to 6 minus 5, that is 1. 6 minus 5 is 1. And then we have 5y raised to 5. So you can see y power 5, x power 1. And whatever we put over here is 75,000. This one as well, I'll write the formula and then I'll solve it up. So here we go, 9c4, because it's the fifth term, it'll be 1 less than the fifth term. And then we have x raised to the power 9 minus 4 raised to the power 4. So here 9 minus 4 is 5, x is power 5. But what about the coefficient? It'll be 9, c is shift and this symbol 4, multiplied by minus 4 the whole power 4, and that's the answer. It's 32,256. That's the coefficient you can see here, and then x is raised to the power 5. Similarly, we'll do this one as well. Here we have 8c3. Why? Because it's fourth term. 4 minus 1 is 3, and c raised to the power n minus k, that is 8 minus 3 is 5, and then we have 6 raised to the power, what is the k value? It's 3. So now put the coefficients in the calculator, that is 8c3 multiplied with 6 raised to the power 3. That's the coefficient. It's 12,096. C times 5, c to the power 5. So here we go. It's 12,096 c raised to the power 5. And that is the end of all the electronic part questions. I hope you have found these videos helpful. And if you can do a huge favor to me, that is by sharing these videos with your friends who also can benefit from it. All the advanced grade videos, EoTs, and lesson explanations are available. Please do share it for those who can benefit. And also, if you could subscribe to my channel or like these videos, it would mean a lot to me. Thank you very much for watching my videos. I wish you all the best for the exam.